Hi, welcome to Words of Torah. I'm Rabbi Johanna Hershenson. This week we study the Torah portion, two Torah portions, Tazria and Metzora, and we're going to look at Tazria. We are in the 13th chapter in Leviticus, and what we see is that the priest is given the function in the community to diagnose, quarantine, and eventually reintegrate individuals who are identified with sara'at, with some sort of a leprosy. And it's interesting to me because the priest is not a doctor or a healer. His role is to determine the presence or the absence of the disease and then give the response. He's a judge in a sense. And the truth of the matter is that we healthy people, right, when we encounter somebody who's ill, our first instinct is usually to distance ourselves, to remind ourselves of all the differentiating factors between ourselves and the sick person. Right, so here we are in the last stretch of COVID pandemic, vaccines coming, but cases and hospitalizations still increasing. We're not past it, but we feel empowered. The weather's getting warmer. We can be outside, which feels better even with our masks. And we are struggling, each of us, still with this constant message of, do I keep my distance? How do I draw near? I want to draw near. And the interesting lesson we might derive from the passage is indicated by a Musar teacher who notices that the priest is required to look at the affected individual twice. And, we usually don't have redundancy in the Torah. So the rabbis ascribe meaning to redundancy. And in this case, the meaning they ascribe to the redundancy is that the priest first looks at the affliction, and then the priest looks at the person, right? The affliction and the person. In a pandemic of our own, reading about a leprosy pandemic in an ancient time, being gifted with the skill of discrimination and discernment, that we can, in fact, isolate ourselves if we think we're sick, or if somebody else is sick, they should isolate. We can keep that physical distance, but we cannot forget to see the human beings in our midst. So as we gear up for summer, for more people being vaccinated, we keep up as well our guard about physical distancing. And I invite us all to start opening our eyes to the people behind the masks, that we should see not only illness or lack of illness, but human beings whom we miss dearly. Have a great week.